Hello, it's Gemma here from Stoney-ole. I just thought I'd show you the baseboard and the bed in which it rests on whilst we had it off going to do the buzz wire. So it's situated on the trundle bed, which is a bed with another bed that's underneath it. Decided to use the trundle bed as to hold up the baseboard because it then didn't use up space, and if anyone came to stay we could just take the baseboard off and it was a fully functional room. The baseboard is here. It's made of a 2x1 PSE timber that we've made into a frame to support a 1/2 inch bit of MDF, and it's all just been glued and screwed. Some of the screws come down through the MDF into the timber, and then we've got a 2-inch bit of foam, insulation foam on top of it, just to try and reduce some of the noise whilst the kids are sleeping. This bit here is so that the head end or foot end of the bed can slide into it, and it stops it sliding along the whole length because it's slightly oversized. And the plan is now to put in a few supports under it so that it doesn't belly, and to put in the buzz wire. Okay, we'll get back to you soon. We've just cut this to go along the middle, and I've put glue on it already. I've made a couple of struts to just hold it level whilst I screw it in. Just glue in the length along here because the glue will hold it, and because gravity will push against it so it won't belly down. I've also checked which way the wood bends, and at the minute it bends so it goes like that, so that the weight pushes down on it and straightens it out a bit. So I'm just going to screw in this end. I've already put a pilot hole in. Right, so I'll split the board into thirds and put the struts 1/3 of the way along and then 2/3 of the way along. I've put in a pilot hole and I've glued. I'm just about to screw. And then we'll flip it over and do the other side. Right, so I've just put in these other 2 struts. I've offset them slightly so I can get the screwdriver in to make it a bit easier for myself. Now I'm about to flip it over and do the 2 at the bottom. So I've got the bus route in and finished screwing up the batons. I've got 2 rounds of bus route wire because I'm going to zone the track so that the inside loop and the outside loop are on different power supplies, totally isolated from each other, so that when I end up with faults I can locate them a bit easier. Instead of having to search all the track for it, I can just search one section or another depending on which one fuses. Well, we've just put a little hole through here just to get the temporary wiring so we can still run stuff, and the box is now underneath the layout, and it's just having a little pootle around to making sure none of the tracks move too much. Another day we'll stick this bit of track down properly and put the droppers through and connect them all up, but I think that's definitely the time for another day. So I'm just connecting the droppers up to the bus wire. I've done all the inside track onto the inside bus wire because I'm doing 2 bus wires so that I know where faults are a bit easier. So the one I'm connecting up now is from a point that's going onto the outside loop. So it's going to go onto the outside bus wire using spades and connectors just to bite through the bus wire. They're just off of Amazon. So let's get on with it. So I've just connected the spade onto the first dropper and pinched it tight. I've got this other dropper, I'm just going to insert it in and then squeeze it. Give it a little test, so that's in. Then we have these connectors. You just put the wire over the hole and shut it. And just use a pair of pliers just to pinch it tight. It clips in place like that. We'll do the other one. There's a close-up of the split in case you missed it last time. You literally just slide the wire over the top of it. And then when you shut it up, it pushes it down and sort of cuts off the outer layer of the bus wire. And it's just a case of inserting the white wire with the spade into the one on the white. It's just a case of inserting the one with the blue wire, the spade with the blue wire, into the one connector on the blue bus route. You have to be careful because sometimes the actual metal bit of the spade gets too close to the plastic covering. Will it make it? There we go. And I'll just do the white one. So we're just getting the box. I'm going to plug the connector here into the programming track so that I can program trains as well, because at the minute I don't have a programming track. So I'll plug it in and then we can get testing and see how the track's running now that some of the curves have been altered slightly by sticking down the points. So we've got the trains running again. It can go different speeds round and it's not had any issues as of yet that we found. Oh, apart from now, typically. How very rude. She's coming back round to that point again where she jolted earlier, so we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it'll behave a bit better this time. Oh no, we'll have to have a look into what's causing that. Cheeky train. So after a bit of head scratching, I think the problem has been solved. The issue is when the train's coming round the corner, the front wheels are still trying to go straight. So the front edge of the wheel touches this side of the arm and the back edge of the wheel was touching this side. And because of the lovely Code 80 track, the frogs are wired up slightly strangely. So the whole of this section here becomes the polarity of whichever side of the track it's touching. So at the moment, this is the white side of the track and the arm is touching the white side. So everything here is white, but this rail here is blue. So as the train was coming around the corner, it's touching the white bit of the white arm and the blue rail and causing it all to fuse out. So to fix this, what I did was I flipped this over and held this bit of the point in place, and then just literally ran my nail along and bent the arm slightly so it has slightly more room and the wheel isn't crossing it, the wheel isn't touching the white and the blue side together. And it seems to be running quite nicely now, touch wood. So this is the code 55 point, the back of it, and it has a loop of wire that comes round that's connected to the frog. And then you can then attach an auto frog or a relay onto it, and it changes the polarity of this whole section, the arms and the frog. But it's automatically controlled by the auto frog or relay. Whereas in code 80, you only have these wires that change the polarity dependent on where the arm is placed in relation to which way the train's going, which then leaves me with an issue later on when it gets a bit mucky as to how that's going to work. Because if there's muck, the power won't transfer onto these bits quite as easily. So I might have to look into, at some point, maybe soldering across here and putting a dropper on and connecting an auto frog or relay. Right, so Chris from Bognor Regis wanted to have a peek at my track plan. So here it is. I did it using Scarm, I think that's how you say it. And it has changed since the track plan was done. Essentially, this bit and this bit are the outer loop that we've got laid out and the train's running round at the moment. Well, it's not running, but you know what I mean. And this bit here was going to be an inner loop that went round inside the risers. But when we started laying the track down and just loosely laying it, what we found was that actually we struggled for shunting space for the quarry wagons. So we had to have a rethink. So we're now going with doing 2 tracks running parallel to each other going round this outer loop, which I've started on over here to put the second track in. And then to join on like a massive big front shunt line almost, to come along here and round the inside and then through the station and then join back on, but just to go under the hill. And the idea is that the quarry is going to be based over in this corner and just have a hint of quarry, and a bridge coming over that the dumper trucks can just dump the gravel, and then they get loaded by digger onto the wagons. Over here is going to be a big hill, so actually these two tracks you're not going to see because they're going to be under a hill with a side opening, so I can get my hand in to get any derailments or something like that. And at the minute, this bit here, I'm undecided whether to put it as a valley or to put it under a hill, but I'm sure that'll all come out in the wash. Chris also asked about room for expansion, and potentially we could do something bringing it off over this way and putting some more point work in, because as you can see there's a little bit of space where we could build into, but that would then also stop the advantage that the bed is now at the minute movable, so you can get round the back. As you can see at the moment it's just off the wall, so you can get in and out and do anything you need to do over there for track cleaning and stuff. So it's going to be a bit of a toss up as to whether I do that or not, but that's for a future date. Okay, I hope that helped. So why don't you go and have a look at Bognor Regis Chris's end gauge. He's just starting his layout and is doing his baseboards and track planning. It's a really interesting watch if any of you have not seen him. Also a big thank you to Colin's Engage for his shout out last week. I really appreciated the support. Thank you. Take care everyone, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.